Hi guys, today we have James Smith with us. He is one of the best people and he is my business mentor. He has helped us a lot. We have the honor of having him here. So welcome to our podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. You are literally one of the guys that saved as our business. You're amazing.
I thank you very much. I will take the compliment. However, Kaz, as I've told you before, we are all going to find ourselves in different places in business where we need advice or we need to do things differently. The cool thing about you is you were actually open and willing to ask, challenge yourself, listen, and then adapt. There's not that many people who will actually be vulnerable enough to ask the questions and then listen and actually do something about it. So congratulations. It's been a real journey watching you over the last few months kind of take on, and I didn't give you a lot. I just gave you some of the key things and just open and honest, and you've already done things. It's amazing. And to see you flourish and grow, and I'm so excited to watch the journey, and doing this today is really cool as well. Get to learn a little bit more about you.
Thank you so much. This line that you said can be intro to the movie. Coming from James himself. We have heard a lot about you, and especially how successful you and your companies have been, and how you are so smart in all of these areas. But then for those who do not know you, can you give them an introduction?
Yeah, cool. So I started thinking about business and entrepreneurship at the age of 12, probably even before that. And do you know what? When I was younger, I wanted to be an inventor. I used to play with Legos and things like this. And I used to put things together and like build these imaginary processes and systems, and something goes in at the beginning and then it does a whole load of stuff and then you get something better at the end of it. And that's something I kind of always dreamed and aspired to do when I was older. And then I realized and stumbled across business and entrepreneurship is exactly that. You start with absolutely nothing. You start with an idea and then you start to put things together like ingredients, run them through processes like cooking almost. And then you end up hopefully with something better at the end of it. And so I've been really fortunate to start a business very young. I started this particular agency when I was 22 years old. And so it's now been running for just over 13 years, showing my age now. And through that time, I started knowing basically nothing. I knew hardly anything, but I was passionate. I knew how to create impact through relationships and through negotiation and through influence. I was a good salesperson, but business is more than just that. So I've learned over the years. So anyway, so I started off 13 years ago with an agency, and over the last 13 years, we've done quite a few acquisitions. I've been blessed to be able to invest in a few other businesses as well, even some of our clients, and been able to see a huge amount. So fast forward to today, we've got 5 different key investments, 1 core agency, which is marketing, tech, and creative. So it's really the business building factory behind helping create growth for a lot of people we work with. And we got a team of 50 people here in Melbourne and Brisbane. And we just love making founders smile, man. There's nothing more impactful than creating a difference in someone's life who's a founder. It's great. Love working with enterprise, and we do work with a lot of enterprise, and fantastic. We love that too. But there's nothing quite as special as when you get to work with a founder and see that smile on their face when you really impacted them and made a difference.
Absolutely. For me, I always think of business as war. War, yeah. So
that's brutal. Okay,
it's really brutal.
Tell me more.
So, for example, if you want to go to the war, first of all, you need to prepare yourself. You need to prepare a team that listens to you, that has your back and all of that. And then what you explained to me, it kind of reminds me of Mike Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
The story of Mike Tyson and his coach. What was his name?
I could pretend to know.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
His coach. We'll put it somewhere in the video. So it's like you are preparing the next champion, and you're becoming a part of that, and you're just showing them how to improve and how to become a better person, right? And for me, I selected business, like you said. It is preparing you mentally, physically, spiritually. There is no more journey more spiritual than being entrepreneur, right?
Correct.
Imagine just about this life-changing deal, then you're on your knees crying, God, please let this fun happen. And then it happens, and that pleasure and happiness that you have for that second is, you can't exchange that for anything. Thank you so much for helping all of these other businesses. And what is your advice for those who want to start something?
That's a really big question. It's slightly different for everyone because everyone's got their own thing that's holding them back. And so I talk to quite a lot of people who are either just starting or about to start, or want to start. And there are probably a few common things that are quite similar between people. Sometimes it's limiting belief. They just purely don't think they've got the capability to do it. They don't know what they don't know, and therefore they think that they don't know enough yet. And so they have to prepare and prepare and prepare before they start. So that's some people. Other people think it might be financial. So they think they've got their big dream, but they don't understand actually you can start small, you can start earlier, and you can build up to that. But some people think, okay, I want to have whatever, my shop. I've got to have enough money for the rent, and I've got to have enough money for the fit out, and I've got to do this. Well, if you want to sell something, you don't necessarily need a shop. There's other ways to start. And then for other people as well, it might be team or hiring people, or not wanting to do it alone. So I think the one thing that I say from an advice point of view that kind of cuts through everything is just start. Find the smallest way to start and just start. And so that allows people to get moving. There's the analogy, it's easier to steer a moving ship than one that's stationary. It's the same thing in business. Sometimes just getting started, you'll learn so much more. When I started, this is going to be embarrassing, a bit of information to share. When I started my business and got our first client, I was 22 years old. I got our first client. I'd recently moved to Australia. I'm originally from the UK. And I went to send an invoice. I didn't even know you were meant to add GST. I didn't even know about tax law. I had no idea what I was doing. No idea. Fast forward 13 years, I know quite a lot now. But do you know what? Should I have stopped? Should I have gone to learn a whole load of stuff? No, screw it. Just get going, make mistakes, and then learn along the way. There's nothing that's going to encourage you to learn when you screw up and you need to fix something. So just get started. My advice for people who want to start out, just get started. Surround yourself with good people. One of the most beneficial things that I did when I started my business is I joined a local business network group. And I turned up not to try and acquire new clients, new business. I wanted to learn. And I was fortunate enough to surround myself with a couple of people who were kind of unofficial mentors, and they'd take me for a coffee or a lunch, ask me difficult questions, challenge me on things, and that helped expedite my learning very, very quickly. So advice, get started, surround yourself with smart, good people.
Amazing. What are the common beliefs that are holding entrepreneur from going to the next stage?
One of the biggest ones is they just don't think they are worthy or they're not capable for a lot of people. Really interesting one, actually. I was talking to a new startup business owner that has a very young kid, actually, really, is a kid. And so they instantly thought that their value and their worth of their services was not professional. It was just, I'm a kid doing what I need to do. But this kid was hustling, was trying to turn it into a real proper business, pressure washing business. And so I was talking to him about it, and he would go door knocking and he'd win these clients. And his close rate was incredible. I was just blown away. I was like, well, why didn't you keep going? Why did it fail? Because he didn't value himself. He didn't think he was professional. So he was charging some pathetic amount of money. Yeah, he was doing probably 80-90% of the quality level of a professional would do anyway. Yet he was charging 10 to 20% of what they would be charging. Yes, we all learn it was a kid, but in that instance, if he had valued himself and actually really understood, would have been comfortable charging a little bit more and probably would have kept going, and then realizing they can afford the equipment, he can become the professional, and would have ended up growing it to something. So we'll see what he does. I'm catching up with him in a couple of months. We'll see if he's taken my advice.
Absolutely. After sitting with you and talking about the business, we have had this session which we came back. By the way, the audio from, I'm not going to release the podcast. That one was one of the first recordings we did together.
Yeah.
In that, I look bad. Like, I look great. So that one is one of the audios that I listen when I go for 1 hour drive to a client.
Really?
Yes. It's on the list and I go through it.
He might release it one day. maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay. If you get how many likes? Let's say 10,000.
Oh, yeah, easy. Like 10,000,
That's like
10,000. Sweet,
gonna
10,000.
take a
He's going to
long
release
time.
that podcast
That's
where
correct.
he looked bad. He didn't look bad. He was just learning.
And after that, we had the feedback, and then we sit together, me and Abhinav, and my business partner. We noticed that because of the prices that we have, like you just said, that there's so many companies that they don't really think that their services are really good, although they are good. So they keep on undercutting all of the other, underbidding all of these other projects.
Yeah.
And what happens is it's like a race to the bottom.
Yeah, well, it's not just a race to the bottom. It's even more dangerous than that, because when you start to run a business and you start having other moving parts and you start to get employees and contractors and all these other costs. Now, if you're not across your numbers intimately, you don't really know what's going on. Money comes in, money goes out, there's a bit left over, but you don't really know what's going on. You don't really know what your gross profit is. You don't really know what your net profit is. You don't know what your operational expenses are. So therefore, you don't know what you need to do in sales to have enough gross profit left over to pay for your operational expenses plus net profit. So what ends up happening is people just try to win the work. They think, oh, it's all right. It's fine. It only cost me $50 an hour for my contractor over here and over here. So even if I make 10%, that's fine. But what you don't realize is you've already got these operational expenses, and you would need to do 5 times the revenue at 10% to cover just your operational expenses. So all of a sudden you start getting this race to the bottom, but then you get this cash flow spiral. People are surviving, but realizing they need more cash flow, but there's no cash flow in the business because there's not enough profit to actually cover both the operational costs and the cost of goods sold. So you end up in this horrible spiral. So cash flow is really, really important. It's the heartbeat of business. And there's a few things that kill it. So obviously getting paid on time, as we've discussed.
Yeah, milestones.
Milestone payments if you're in construction. But then the other thing is just not having enough profit in the first place. Because once said and done after a project or whatever it is, what's left over in profit is your positive cash flow. So if you don't have enough profit, you're not going to have enough cash flow anyway. So knowing your numbers is really, really important. And it's not just for startups, it's for established businesses as well. We hear all the time about businesses all of a sudden going to the wall because of cash flow. And quite often it's not just people not paying on time. Quite often it's because there's just simply not enough profit in the product itself.
Absolutely. And it's, one of the other thing about business is it's not just the people working in it, it's the families that come with it. So it's, for those, especially myself, I always thought that it's going to be that simple. But then if you take the cash away, you slowly see the stress in the whole family. And all of a sudden your mother is stressed, your father is stressed. Yeah. So it's really important to get to know those numbers. You have started your company, Smith Brothers Media, which is one of the best marketing agency, and it does more than that. You started back in 2012, right?
Correct.
And you said with $20 and a laptop?
So not quite. My first business purchase was a $20 desk on Gumtree. So that was my first, I remember very, very much, this is my first business expense, was a $20 desk on Gumtree. Yeah. So at the time when I started, I was living in a 3 to 2.5 bedroom unit in Hampton East here in Melbourne. And I'd recently just left the job, and I had probably about $8,000 in the bank of actual savings, and that had to last me personally and the business. Yeah, $8,000 to get started, and that was it. So I knew I had a 3-month run ramp because there was other income coming from my partner at the time. So I had a 3-month run ramp to basically try and generate enough revenue. So if I could get one client paying $500 a month, and in the month number 1, that buys me another month on the run ramp. If I can get another one in month 2, that buys me another month. If I get another one in month 3, that buys me another month. So my goal was one client per month, 3 months, and I would not take on a single other client in that month. So I could overserve the absolute hell out of them and turn them into the most raving fan possible. And sure enough, that's what we did. We got 3 clients within those first 3 months, and they became raving fans. In fact, 2 of those clients are still clients today.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So from $20 on a Gumtree to having a beautiful office and 50 people.
Yeah.
A team of absolutely Can
and
I
now
say
and now being able
savages?
to invest in other things and other
Killers.
people, which is really exciting. That's the most exciting part. Yeah.
So you're investing in a lot of other companies, right?
I would say a lot. I'm dabbling, but I invest in people more than companies. They just happen to have companies.
What are the characteristics that you know that this guy is a winner?
It's a really good question because there's a few people that you meet and you go, you know, one day this person's going to be someone I want to back. So integrity, honesty, the ability to ask questions and listen and absorb, be really, really hungry for information from other people. Those characteristics are massive for me. So as soon as you can tell there's a hunger, there's a passion, there's a desire to learn from others, and not know everything. As soon as you meet someone who's like a fresh young entrepreneur and they think they know everything, that's when it becomes a bit difficult, because I have a saying that everyone needs to be an open-minded skeptic to be great in business. And that means that you've got to be able to ask the difficult questions, challenge things, but also be open-minded enough to listen to the response back to change your opinion or your perspective. So if someone is truly an open-minded skeptic, that's usually a pretty good indicator for me.
They got to be coachable.
Yes.
They have to.
Yeah.
Because not everybody is coachable.
Not everybody is coachable. No.
Yeah.
They've got to be coachable. That's a big part. For me, when I work in businesses, whether it's clients or there's investments, for me, one of the really important things is that the value that I bring and the decision power I bring to the business is greater than what my shareholding would be. And so it's really important that I can demonstrate value, I can educate people, and I can influence decisions through sharing experience and knowledge and strategies, and that the people are willing to listen and learn. And as long as it makes sense, they're willing to take it on board as a suggestion and maybe use it to some degree.
Amazing. One of the most recent projects, I think, but you're doing projects all the time, is Hashlock.
Hashlock. Yeah, Hashlock.
Do you want to tell us more about
that's actually a really cool story. How far back do you want to go? Do you want to go from the very beginning of it?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So going back about 5 years ago, I received a cold email out of the blue, of which we get loads of people wanting jobs. You know, hey, I'm really interested. You know, you get it. Everyone gets it all the time. There's something that just stood out about this one, because this person wasn't really asking for anything. They weren't asking for a job. They said, I realize that there's an opportunity for me to further myself, and I want to find a business that I can partner with, and I want to sell your services for free. All I ask is a small commission if I'm successful. And that's someone's literally putting their neck on the line. There's no ulterior motive. There's no underlying something. Someone's hungry. I knew they were young, but I didn't know how young. They were just finishing uni. I didn't know anything about them. And I thought, you know what? I might actually give this person a phone call. Let's have a chat. So my EA arranged the call. It was a phone call. It wasn't a video call. Had a chat. Sounded very smart on the phone. Was listening. Was hungry. And I thought, let's see. I'll try and make it work. So we tried to make it work. Too risky. Liability. Didn't want to have a contractor trying to sell our services. Not going through our training and stuff. That's too risky for me. So I was like, sorry, it's not going to work. The model you suggest is not going to work, but I'll give you a full-time job instead.
Yeah.
So I gave him a full-time job, and he was over the moon, super hungry.
Yes.
So he started, and I realized this person's going to be really good. So I've got to put some effort in. So I decided to hire another junior, because he was junior at the time, and thought, no, I'm going to mentor these two people. I'm going to really take them under my wing, teach them what I know, and see what happens. So I did. Fast forward 2.5 years later, this particular person asked for a meeting with me. By the way, it turns out he was just turning 18 when he started. Just turning 18 when he started with me. Very young. So fast forward 2.5 years, he asked for a meeting, and I said, yeah, cool, no problem. I said, I'm a bit nervous about this meeting, James. So, why? You don't? It's just me. No, but I'm worried you're going to fire me after I say what I've got to say. Okay, I'm like thinking, geez, what's he done? What's he done now? Yeah. What's he done? And it's like, people make mistakes, that's fine. In my business, you can make mistakes as long as you learn from it. That's not a problem. He said, can you take your boss hat off for a minute? I was like, oh gosh, this is going to get weird. Okay, so he took my boss hat off, and I said, okay, tell me. He's like, I've got an idea for a business, and I want to know whether you think it's a good idea. I was like, okay, got it. So sure enough, he told me what he was interested in. I didn't know enough about the industry at the time. So I said, give me 3 days. I'll go and do some research. I'll make some phone calls, see what I can uncover. And let's meet in 3 days. Met in 3 days. What would you like first, the good news or the bad news? I asked him. I said, well, the good news. I said, the good news is actually a pretty good idea, because I see a lot, you can imagine. I see a lot of different pitches and ideas, and there's not many that really make it through where I think it's a genuinely good idea. I thought it was a genuinely incredible idea. So I said, I think it's so good, I think you should do it. And he goes, great, well, what's the bad news then? You are fired. But in 6 months' time. So you got 6 months to make this a success, because you have no job in 6 months' time. So go hard, hustle, and get it working. So sure enough, he did. Suffice to say, actually, within the next couple of months, we end up investing in that business. And so fast forward now. So today, it's been just over 3 years of trading. They're now so that was, his name was Fletcher.
Yes, I met him.
Fletcher and Jock, the two co-founders of that company. They are now probably one of the fastest growing blockchain security businesses in the world. They have won awards all over the world. They're currently right now in Singapore headlining Token 2049 for the security side of things, and they're killing it. They've got a team globally. They travel the world. They are literally making one of the biggest impacts in blockchain, making it more secure. They've now secured probably just over $5 billion on-chain of currency equivalent for different businesses. So they're doing an incredible service to the financial industry, and growing rapidly.
Congratulations to you.
Oh,
and congratulations to the team.
Yeah.
It's really amazing to hear that, they make it in such a, big stage.
Yeah.
And I have met Fletcher myself too. And he's one of the guys that knows his numbers.
Yeah.
He knows his numbers. He showed me his P&L and all of that. And I look at it, it blew my mind.
Yeah.
And he's like, let me blow your mind. That he showed me more numbers. I was amazing.
So one of the cool things with Fletcher, and like I said, this is the pattern of the people who I know are going to be successful, is they listen and then they realize the value of it, and then they hold it as habit throughout their business. So there's certain numbers when it comes to sales, which we love to track. So we call them positions of movement through the sales journey. It's a really great way to monitor and understand what your sales activity looks like without having to look at just the dollars. And that's something for him that is like, it's almost become like habitual in the business. The entire business, everyone knows what positions of movement are happening on a day, on a week, on a month.
Can you teach me more about it?
Yeah, positions of movement is a really interesting one. Not many people talk about positions of movement as a sales metric, but it's a really valuable one.
Do you want to dive?
Do you want me to dive into it now?
Love it.
All right, cool. So every business has, and this is particularly important for human-based sales. So where human input is required for the sale. So every human sale business is going to have a sales journey. So they're all relatively similar. An inquiry comes in, there might be some sort of discovery, there might be a proposal that has to be created, there might be a presentation, and then there might be it getting sent or proposal sent, and then maybe negotiation. So there might be 6 or 7 key stages within that sales journey. So a deal has to go from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And so what we count is within a given time frame, whether it's a day, a week, or a month, how many times has a deal progressed? So it's the positions of movement. So it could be that you've done 10 deals from qualify through to discovery. So that's 10 positions of movement. Or it could be that there's been 10 positions of movement from proposal created to proposal sent. But the whole idea is we just look at the total number of positions of movement within a period of time, because it shows that there's constant progress of the sales pipeline moving in one direction to another. And the good thing about that is it takes away the bullshit excuse of, there's not enough leads, or, no one's got back to me on proposals yet. So the whole idea is it kind of looks at the whole picture. There is no hiding. There should always be activity possible. So when you've got a human sales team, there's always activity possible. So if your pipeline is everything's right at the proposal sent, right, well, your job should be finding the opportunities, because that counts as a position of movement. So there's no excuse. That's why positions of movement is a really good one to measure.
It's beautiful. So we got we have a new system to apply after this. So I think in business, it's really important to look at the numbers. And what's your position on separating emotions? When do you know how to involve emotion and how to separate?
Oh, Diane, that's a really difficult one. It's a really difficult one. There's two parts to this. So First of all, emotions are really important, incredibly important for making decisions. But it's not about reacting, it's about using them to inform your decisions. So, for example, sometimes some people will react and become angry. Sometimes I choose to be angry because that's what's required in that moment to show, that something hasn't happened or something is not right or it's justified and someone needs to understand that. I'm not saying I choose to be angry very often. I'm not that type of person. But feelings should be used to inform your decisions rather than necessarily react. Now, when it comes to sort of numbers though, numbers and emotion, this is where it's different again, because in business, there is business, which is numbers, but business is made up of what? People. That's all business is, people, right? Business is not numbers, business is people. Without people, businesses don't exist. So business is just people. So emotion is incredibly important. Culture is incredibly important. And so understanding that, married with numbers, is really, really important. And sometimes the two conflict with one another.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah, especially, and I think we've talked about purpose and mission in business. And if someone has a true purpose and mission in business, so for me, it's to help as many businesses as possible, how many great people in businesses as possible, making money from that and making profit from that somewhat conflicts. Because if I want to help more people, I could just lower my prices and lower our costs and we can help more people. But that's not always going to help because it's profit for purpose. If I want to grow, I need profit to grow my business, therefore I can help more people. But that's only going to feel true when I'm selling if I have a real passion. And so that's why emotion is really important, because I really care. My team really care. They turn up and they actually care about success for our clients. And because of that, we win work, we win clients, and we generate profit to then grow and help more people. Now, if I didn't care about that and I just cared about the profit and I didn't care about the people, our reputation would be in the dirt. And we wouldn't have grown to where we are today. And we wouldn't grow in such a way where we get to work with the right type of people. And we wouldn't be having these conversations.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so I think emotion is really important. It's equally as important as the numbers, but they do need to collaborate together.
It's like walking on a thin ice. Because I think if you push too hard, if you don't push, then if you don't push, everyone is chilling around.
Yeah.
They're just having their coffees. But then, so this brings us to the next section of the business. Okay. You have advice, you have purpose, you know your numbers. Now you got to work on a team.
Yeah.
How do you build your team? And how do you know who to select, who not to select? And in some stage, you got to let someone go for the good of the team and the company.
Yeah.
How do you make these difficult questions?
With difficulty. It's not easy. It's not easy. Probably hiring people is one of the more difficult things in business. One of the most difficult things in business. My advice to anyone who's hiring, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who have different opinions on this, is to understand what you need first. So what is the gap in the business that you're trying to fill or solve? And what role is it? And then really understand what that role is and understand what are the strengths required both from a technical and a talent perspective, and what are the strengths that you're needed from a character and attitude or from a culture point of view for that role and for your whole business. And almost write those things out and understand what they are, and then start to hypothetically ask questions and think about what answers would be a hell yeah or a hell no. And so for me, when I go to hire people now, I always talk to my team about it. If they've done an interview and they come out, I say, how was it? And they'll start talking. And I just cut them off. So was it a hell yeah? Was it a hell yeah? And if it's not a hell yeah, it's a no. So it has to be a hell yeah every time we hire someone. And that's from a talent perspective, an attitude perspective, and a culture perspective. I've come to learn that.
That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, over a long period of time. The other thing as well, for businesses that are growing, and you think, okay, cool, I've got people for this and everything else. Like I said before, what is a business? It's people, right? And so if you are the leader of an organization, if it's your vision, if it's your spirit that's in the business, you need to have last say on every single person. So what I do in my business is, yes, we have managers, we have team, they'll run the interviews. Last interview, even if it's just 5 minutes, I'm the last interview. and I get the final veto. If they don't fit the culture, or they don't fit something, I trust my team to work out the talent side of things, the skills, requirements, everything else. But if they don't fit the culture or the attitude, then it's a no.
Absolutely. I think for me personally, before you said this, I was going through my mind trying to see that how's my strategy. I think we go personally, like someone, and see what kind of skills they have, then make a space in the company.
Completely.
For that. It's the other way.
So true. And especially when you're in startup mode as well, because you meet people hustling. It's like you find someone else who's going, I like them. Oh, what could I get them to do in my business? Rather than what does my business need? Let me find the right person for that. So yeah, 100%. I've done that so many times. I've made that mistake. I've made that mistake many times over.
You know, like it's human nature. You like people who are like us.
Yeah.
But you don't want people who are like you in the company. You already got one. And everybody hates them.
If you ask my team about that, that's where I've made mistakes in the past. Hiring people which probably similar, or I see value in similar characteristics, which isn't necessarily correct. It's a very fair point.
Yeah, amazing. All right. Another question for you is, I always see you that you're ahead of the curve. So how can you keep this much of enthusiasm and, the interest to keep on learning? Like, look at AI. It's scary at the same time and interesting and exciting at the same time.
Yeah.
How do you keep yourself on continuously learn all?
Because it's about the mission, brother. The mission. So my mission, help as many businesses as possible, as many great businesses as possible. And part of that is uncovering new ways to do things smarter. I love it when there's a new way of doing something smarter. There's been so many times we thought this would be great, but the tech's just not there yet. And then all of a sudden this AI boom that's happening, love it. It's so exciting. It's terrifying, yes, but so exciting. The hard part for me is how do we actually make it commercially valuable to businesses where it doesn't just become hype and excitement for the same reason we just talked about 2 seconds ago is people see this magical AI thing, go, how do I make that work in my business? Rather than looking, what's the problem in my business? Okay, can I solve it with some sort of tech solution or AI? They look at it the wrong way around. How many articles you probably scrolled a little bit through LinkedIn over the last few days? Well, every second article or thing is about some new AI thing or some process or whatever it might be. It's just so noisy out there, and everything sounds valuable. But what's important is to understand what the gap is in people's businesses. So I'm passionate about that. So I love it when I get the chance to really speak to a business owner or founder, peel away all the bullshit, look at the reality of things, ask the difficult questions, understand their finances, understand their team and their people and where their gaps are, and then fill those gaps with great tech or solutions. And yeah, it keeps me excited.
That's amazing. Again, it's like we're going the other way. Like you're going that way, you're going this way.
Yeah. So the weird thing is people say, there was a question someone asked me the other day is, do you care about AI? And I was like, what do you mean do I care about AI? No, I don't give a shit about AI. But I give a shit about what AI can do. So it's the other way around. So yes, I do care very much, but it's not that I care about AI. But I think it's very interesting what it can do.
Is there any new AI that you came across and you're like a little bit concerned how dangerous it's getting?
Yes.
And what is that?
Yeah, it's probably not dangerous for business. It's just dangerous for humanity.
Interesting. What is that?
Communication, conversation, kids. I had a really good debate the other day with some family members about social media and how people are becoming addictive to reels and scrolling and the endless doom scrolling. And now if you actually 4 o'clock, if you happen to be driving past a school, like where teenagers are getting out, they're between, say, the age of 13, 16, and they're all getting on the bus or whatever it is, and they're waiting for the bus to come. You go back 10 years, they were all like chatting, whatever, a little bit rowdy. Now, they're just this. All of them. There might be 2 out of like 50 people who are actually talking. They're all just on their phones, just looking through their phones. And so people are becoming less communicative. They are becoming within themselves. Expectations on their lives are being judged through what they're seeing, what content they're absorbing. algorithms and AI only live to feed whatever it is you're feeling or thinking. So you're only ever going to feel more of whatever it is, your state. And so I think that's scary. And with AI, it's going to make that even stronger and more powerful. Content is going to be faster and faster. So there's going to be more content that feeds whatever that potentially negative thought is about, someone's having, polarizing views even more. And it goes to the point where, and people go, well, but social media's always been like that. It hasn't. Social media used to be for your community to just know what's going on and knowing that Kaz found a really cool coffee the other day or whatever it is, right? Do you remember a day when you used to scroll through Facebook for like 10 minutes and then it'd say at the end, you're all caught up?
Yeah.
When was the last time you ever saw that? You're all caught
Maybe
up. Doesn't exist
6,
anymore.
7 months.
No,
Right?
it's endless scrolling now. There is no you've caught up. So that just goes to show what they're trying to do. So anyway, that takes a long way. So that's one area that I'm a little bit concerned about AI and how that's going to impact humanity. There's also a lot of great things as well. Some incredible things in research, medical, incredible. There was an article today. Someone literally just got cured from epilepsy, a child, because they were able to detect a slight change in brain matter, which they could never have detected before, purely because AI was able to analyze it and find it. So there's these really cool things happening as well. So it's swings and roundabouts.
And I think the competitive edge that it provides to small businesses, because at the end of the day, we are competing, even if you have a burger shop, at the end of, somewhere, then there's a McDonald's, you're in competition with that.
Yeah.
And then the budget and the resources that one has, the other one doesn't. So AI is somehow helping this small business to have a little bit more opportunity.
Yes.
So that's really good. If you are to choose 3 AI tools.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Or let's okay. It's that way. If you are to choose 3 AI tools, and you have $10,000 now, you want to double it in a week. Which 3 AI tools you're gonna use? Or
so I got 10 grand cash
1 week,
and I can use 3 AI tools, and I need to double that. Am I allowed to use my own skills? Can I pick up the phone? Can I sell something?
No. If you use your network, you can.
No, not network, but I'm allowed to sell something, right?
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
I can create something using it. Oh, quickest way right now. I think a lot of people don't realize the power of AI is really good for generating content and images, as well as then selling. So it can take away a lot of the heavy lifting. So if you didn't have AI tools and you were trying to sell content or images or social or whatever it might be, then that would take quite a long time to do. Just on the admin and the sales side alone, let alone the production. So 10 grand, I would chuck 10 grand into ads, generate some inquiries, and then I would use Gamma, which is an AI tool, to write proposals. I would then have to have ChatGPT as my general go-to thing for everything, just to help everything that I needed. And then I would probably use something like Lovable or Replit to then build websites, low-cost websites. And so I'd probably sell 10 websites, $5,000 each. It would probably take about 4 hours each one to build. And yeah, there you go. I got 50 grand.
Not 10, 50.
Yeah.
There's 40 for you to go.
Yeah. That's probably, so that'd be the easy way. I can't believe there's not more businesses doing that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Even
we didn't think about it.
Yeah.
Like you said, again, there's the problem with the founders that their background defines what they think and the frame.
Yeah.
So I come from hard work, physical hard work. And, my whole team is always telling me that you are taking the long route because I like the hassle.
Yeah.
And when it's physical and mental, I'm always drawn to physical. Physical challenges, like instead of going and managing the project, you see me,
getting in there.
Amazing.
You like to see the fruits of your labor.
Absolutely. Can we take a 5-minute break?
Let's do it.
After the break, how about we jump into money? Business.
Okay.
The fruit of all the hard work.
Yes.
Okay, how do you track it and how do you reinvest it in a business?
How do you track it? So first of all, tracking finances, I think, is one of the more difficult things for a lot of business owners. Most small businesses that I speak to probably don't actually know where their money is. They don't know what it's doing. They don't know if it's theirs. So one thing I think is really, really important for businesses is to really understand intimately how to read a P&L and how to read a balance sheet, and then make sure your accounting is up to date. I think we've had those conversations in the past, and it allows you to really understand what's here now, what's going to be in the future. And without that, it's impossible to really make decisions about investments, because that money might be required in the business for cash flow periods where it's low or whatever it might be. So that's really important, making sure you're on top of your numbers. I think anyone who's not doing that needs to make sure end of month your accounts are clean, finished, closed, and that will give you a really good picture to understand what you've got left over, what you can invest in the business for growth, or what you can invest in external things, or if you want to take it out, or whatever it is you want to do. So that's that. And then for me, for investing, how do I know what to invest in? A little bit different. So my investment journey has been quite different. It's not that I just invest because I like to invest. We built our organization from organic growth and through acquisition. So we started off in search marketing. That was our specialty when we first started. And we had a mission to effectively build an organization where we can really make an impact through when we help people grow and improve. So we went on a journey of acquisition as well. So we acquired different agencies and specialist firms to bolster our talent, our skill, as well as our client base. So it started off with acquiring a web design company, a very small web design company called True Blue Websites back in the day. They even had a shop front. So we acquired True Blue Websites, and that was our first acquisition. Actually, it's a really funny story about that one. It was a very low value deal in terms of the initial upfront payment, but there was payment over time as well. So vendor finance, so I could cash flow it. Again, things I made mistakes on, acquiring businesses through cash flow rather than other people's money. That was a big mistake. Don't do that. But that deal that I did, I remember it was a Tuesday. No, it was a Wednesday. Sorry, it was a Wednesday. We had a small office in Bayside, and we had a team of probably 7 people at the time. And we used to have Onesie Wednesday. So this is when we were small and thought we were really cool with the ping pong table and things like that. So we used to do Onesie Wednesday. I remember signing the deal with the business owner wearing a onesie. I've got a photo somewhere. I was wearing a onesie, signing the deal. My first business acquisition, wearing a onesie. Since then, the deals I've done, I haven't been wearing a onesie.
No more.
So that's my investment advice. Invest when you're wearing a onesie. No, and then for me, it's all been about strategic acquisition in the most part. And then it's only of late that we've been diversifying and investing in things that are outside of our world.
Absolutely. So I believe money is like energy, right? It never disappears. It just transforms.
Keeps moving around.
Yeah.
Goes from one place to another.
You gotta be like, like a hunter. Hunter knows where the gazelle is, where this, that. How do you find where the next wave of money is?
See, I probably have a different perspective than you, and it's not to say whether it's right or wrong. Money for me is not necessarily a thing that I chase. So
I like that.
For me, money is something that comes as a result of doing good things. Yes, money is a KPI. In business, it is the KPI. It is the unit of measurement in pretty much all KPIs in business. So it is really, really important. But for me, if you truly believe that you're doing great things and your mission is worthy and you are close to that mission and constantly trying to achieve it, money will come. If you're creating value, you can ask for value back. So if you're creating value, you can ask for value back. And so the moment that we're not creating value, we don't deserve that money. We don't deserve the business.
Makes sense. There's no need for that.
Yeah, so every business about a value exchange, or it should be about a value exchange. I do something, I get something. You do something, you get something. And that's all it is. It's just money is the currency that we use.
Beautiful. One more thing is that how much money is good money?
How much money is good money? Enough. And that's
How
how
much
much
is enough?
enough. It depends on whoever. For me, it's not about money, right? So I enjoy moments, all moments of the journey. So success, there is no end point, right? So forget becoming successful. So I like to say, so people ask me, oh, you seem successful. What's made you so successful? It's like, I'm not successful, but I am succeeding. So the day I started, I was succeeding. The day I lost a big deal, I was still succeeding. The day I screwed something up, I was still succeeding. It was all just part of my journey. So it's about being present and enjoying it. Might just share one quick story. There's one thing that I screwed up really big time in business, and it ended up costing me hard. And I was really worried. Like, I was in a really bad situation. This is going back probably about 7-8 years ago. And I did not know how I was going to get through it. Really did not know at that point in time how I was going to get through it. Cash flow, money issues, payment, all that stuff. It was all came at the same time. And I really did not know how I was going to solve it. And I remember going home and crying and poured myself a gin and tonic. Not that that's a good idea to do when you're not feeling good, but I did. And I remember just looking into my glass and basically tears in my eyes going, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I had this moment, this moment, I can literally remember this moment where I switched my mindset around. Interesting fact, did you know the chemical that's released when you feel anxious and anxiety and worry is the same when you feel excited? It's just our mindset of how we look at it and the moment, the situation. So what I then did is I switched this moment in my head of going, oh, I'm doomed. I've got this situation. There's such a unique challenge and I don't know how I'm going to go over it. To going, I've got such a unique challenge. I'm so lucky to have this chance to overcome something that's so unique that other people don't get this challenge to overcome. And if I can overcome this, then that's going to make me stronger. It's going to do this. So now I've got this really cool opportunity to overcome something. And so then it let me just go into it with a different mindset, being grateful for the challenge, which sounds so sick and twisted, but I became grateful for the challenge and I could start to enjoy succeeding in a moment where I'd failed. And so through that, I was able to trade through over that next 3 months. We traded out of it. We just went hard, traded out of it. No one got let go. No one lost their job. And we traded all the way through and then grew.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
One of the metaphors that I use is thanks to you, I got it from you. Do you remember the story of if you want to have the fastest car, you got to break it down?
Yeah. Yes.
So then it's moments like that, then you know, all right, this part is not working. Let's fix this. Fix this. It's really important to have that mindset, and you know, those who can make it through moments like that and do not give it.
Yeah.
I think God is blessing them.
Yeah.
Because I think there is no outcome at the end if no one is, you know, going through the pain and not complaining. You know, for me, I have moments like that, and it happened very recently, one of it, right? So when it happened, I was in a position, I see that everything is going wrong at the same time. It's like a movie.
Yeah.
You know, the moment that everything breaks.
It does feel like that.
And then I started recording it.
So how did you get through it? When you had that moment?
Yeah.
And you were faced with this challenge, what were you feeling despair, or did you flip it around, or how did you?
It was a very emotional, so I recorded it. I keep the camera running and there was no one around. And you know, when you're in a position like that, if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, everyone points finger at you.
Yeah.
So I started that with that mindset. Then I immediately changed it in front of the camera. And I said that, hey, I'm so grateful to God because of all these challenges. Imagine if I didn't ask for the success that I want to go, right? I would just have a normal life, go to office, get a, coffee break at 10, come back, no complaint, have a good life. But then you wanted to take on this journey, which is very challenging. This puts you ahead of everybody else. And the challenges are going to be so much bigger.
Yeah.
And instead, imagine that God is looking at you and giving you all these opportunities to learn. I would like to say that's like in a gym. You go to a gym, you're always carrying 10 kg dumbbells, right?
Yeah.
One day, the gym owner is like, hey, remove all the 10 kg dumbbells, put 25.
Yeah.
Because this guy's body is ready for 25, but he doesn't know it.
Yeah.
Then you go to gym and instead of crying like, oh God, why is 10 kg? Then you start crying. No, you got to lift up the 20.
You got to lift it up. Yeah.
That's the other one.
But that's the whole thing about stress, isn't it? So stress is actually a really good thing, because if you get under pressure and stress, then you learn to not necessarily cope with it or just manage it, but you learn to get through it, and you learn how to actually operate another level that allows you to actually not even feel the stress in the first place, which then, guess what? As business owners, as entrepreneurs, we push ourselves or others push us, and then we end up in a position where we get loaded up with a bit more stress, an extra 25 kgs. And then you push again, you push again, and you push again. So yeah, and this is you'll find this on your journey. So again, this is why I like looking back at I look back at my first business purchase, that $20 desk on Gumtree, and I remember that purchase. And now when I look back at just what I spent last month on business expenses through the business, it puts it into perspective of the journey that I've gone on.
How much was it?
Oh,
Give
how
us
much?
a number.
Just say it's a fair amount.
Okay, how
It's
much?
a fair amount.
Are you comfortable?
Hundreds.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's life. Okay,
Yeah.
we can end the podcast by asking the last important question. What is your legacy going to be?
Legacy I've been wrestling with this one recently. The only way I can really describe it is that it's not my legacy, but I help create legacy for others.
That's OG.
Because that's what I do, right? So that's what I enjoy. I like helping others become successful. I like helping others achieve goals, win. And if that means I can help them create their legacy, then I'm winning. And it might be not something I ever get my name attached to or anything like that, but I'll know.
Well, you have helped us with your legacy, and you blessed us with your wisdom and your knowledge, and we are always going to be grateful to that. Thank you so much for coming today.
Having me.
Thank you.